No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Oh.
Ooh. Welcome to Parlay Pursuit. I spilled some. Remind me not to touch the table.
Ooh.
Welcome to the Parlay Pursuit. We are back to break down UFC Vegas 100. No, not UFC 100. This is not Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir 2. This is UFC Vegas 100, the 100th event at the Apex. Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates. Can't wait to see that fight. Excited for this card. Another beautiful Saturday with fights. I'm awake. I'm renewed. I am rejoiceful. I have put myself on a fast. I am 2.5 days into a 5-day fast. I'm halfway there, living on a prayer. My daughter gave me a meal that I can eat, and I'm not even touching that stuff. I'm not even gonna touch that. I just took it to be polite, but we are here. I have a lot of information to give you guys today. I have an extreme amount of information. Try to keep up. This is going to be an insane episode with tons of value. Alex, Dan, we are also coming off the heels of election night, so we couldn't do the podcast Monday Night Football. We couldn't do the podcast yesterday because it was an election night. That would be I don't know why Dan didn't want to do it on election night. I don't know why, but we are here now, throwing Dan under the bus.
He wants to look at the number go up every 40 minutes.
And listen, we are Dana White supporters. Dana White is a Trump supporter.
And hear what Wolf Blitzer has to say. Trump
will be at the UFC at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And, the market is up. Futures are up. Crypto is up. Everything is up. Everything's great. Everything's doing fantastic. Today was an 80-degree fall day on the East Coast. And dare I say the air smelled a little greater this morning, a little sweeter. I had a little bit of a pep in my step. People who I called, I'm doing business. I'm making business moves. Everyone's optimistic. Everyone's having a good time. RFK, he said he's gonna make America healthy again. He's coming after the FDA. He's coming after the CDC. We're all very pleased to be Americans today. I think I speak for everybody when I say proud to be an American and optimistic for our future. And that'll be, that'll be the sort of boilerplate statement from the show. We're happy. And, but not as happy as I am to deliver this data that I have. I combed through year 4. I combed through the first half, 21 events into year 5, halfway there, just like my fast. And I have a ton of new information to give you guys. Alex is going to hate it. Dan's going to hate it. We got some math talk today. But it's going to.
How I came in tired. And we're going over this today of all days.
Today of all days, baby. Let's talk about last week's card just a little bit. I wasn't overly well. There's a lot to talk about, actually. So our boy Dan here, and we'll check in with these guys, but I want to kind of just tee Dan up here. Dan was one split decision away from a perfect parlay. Dan went 12 out of 13 with his picks that he gave you on this show. The Batman, Danny Boy, was the split decision on Serhi Saidi versus his pick, Garrett Armfeld. He was that split decision away from a perfect parlay, and I couldn't feel worse for him in that regard. I thought Armfeld won, to be honest with you. I picked Sergey Saidi. I had him in parlays, but I thought Armfeld won. I was one outcome away, the main event, from winning $1,200, $20 bet for $1,200. My 6-fight parlay that included Romanov, Jourdain, Zahabi, Stoltzfus, which was sort of a hedge play. I was actually I picked Barrios on the show, but I started as the weeks went on to realize Stoltzfus might have a chance. I was kind of listening to Dan a little bit. So for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights in a row, the first 8 fights in a row, the picks I gave you on this show were correct. So 8 fights into a 13-leg perfect parlay myself. Only missed that by 3, so went 10 out of 13. Glorious. There's a bug. Hold on, I fucking kill that bug. It was a good night, but I marked out for Albazi a little bit there. I had a $20 parlay to win 1,200. Albazi being the last leg of my 6th leg. After Stolfitz, it was Blanchfield, Albazi, and I was swearing at my screen. I was cussing Blanchfield out for the first 2 rounds. I thought, we didn't learn our lesson here with Manon Figueroa. We're gonna sit here and strike with Rose Namajunas. And then she switched it around in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. Got it done with the grappling, with the cage control. Even outstruck Rose in one of those rounds. So shouts out to the pride of New Jersey, Aaron Blanchfield. That was sort of my night in a nutshell. Overall losing night for me, but could have been a big win. Ended up not cashing out, not hedging out in certain areas, and it cost me a little bit. But we fight on. Alex, how was your watching experience for UFC Edmonton?
I had a few friends over, so I wasn't necessarily watching as diligently as I should have been. But decent night of fights. Power bar really screwed me more than anyone. And then I made a couple desperation plays that bit me in the butt as well. But not too bad of a losing night. Had a great time. Power bar sucks though. Like, that was really bad. Terrible game plan. Threw it out the window entirely. Let the crowd get to his head and ended up on the bad end of a knockout.
How about you, Danny?
Actually, you suck because I gave you the correct pick. And you know what? I almost fell into the trap. I was thinking Stoltzfus heavy. I actually ended up picking Power Bar. But then, as we're going over the picks, if you're watching the episode, I thought, you know what? I was about to say Power Bar. I said, I'm going back to my gut. I'm going to my gut here. I'm going with Stoltzfus. And what it was more? It was more that, that would have been just the same old dance, the same old song and dance that's led me to this negative outcome, as you see before me. It was cool. But I just fell into the trap of, okay, well, this guy's better than this guy. This guy's better than this guy. And sometimes it's just not that simple. It's not who's had the better career. It's who's going to win the fight on that night. And I just thought we undervalue Stoltzfus so much. You think of who's a fighter in the UFC that sucks? Dustin Stoltzfus. He's one of the first names that comes to mind. But he's not that bad. He's a gorilla of a man. He's got that weird Dutch, German, Pennsylvania, Amish country wrestling style. And he put that to display for 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And then when Power Bar got up, he was like, wrong move. Catch these fists. They just knocked him the hell out, man. He's got some power as well, obviously. Gave Bruno Ferreira a run for his money in the previous fight. So we're undervaluing Stoltzfus and overvaluing the Power Bar. You guys are talking about, well, he's got power. It's in his nickname. No, he doesn't. And we saw that on display. So
too stiff, too plotty, too slow.
So yeah, I was glad I was able to catch myself there. I had a nice night. It was a nice night. I had a nice little $250 gain, and I feel like that will propel me to a new mindset for the fight cards to come. I even won some on football. I won a lot more on football, but yeah, I think I'm ready to rock these next coming weeks.
Yeah, we all won on football. So the losses that we had on the UFC night, we were able to persevere, fight on. You don't lose when you lose. You lose when you stop trying to win. That's what I always say. Cool. Well, let's just get into next week's card. That was a quick enough recap. Not too much to dwell on, I don't think. If I take a quick look at the card, all the fights kind of stunk. I mean, Cody Gibson had a great performance. The Armfeld-Saidi fight was pretty exciting. Alexander Romanov's a beast. I came out here. I told you he was going to win. Zalal is the star of the card for sure. Jourdain, it was looking kind of bad at first. So much so that I hedged a little bit on Henry, having Jourdain in my parlays, and all good. He got the win there. Zahabi looked great, did what he did. I thought he was going to drop Munoz for the first time in his career, and he was landing some really good strikes. Malat Obviously, everyone's talking about it. Him and Giles. I personally was thinking Giles was winning the fight. I was like, this is maybe I was grading on a curve a bit, with expectation being that Malott would be able to finish him. The expectation being Trevin Giles gets finished, Mike Malott does the finishing. Jazzy J dominated Ariane Lipinski. She's done. I'm done trying to make cases for her. She's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. One thing I do want to say: Ribeiro and Machado, lame. Even more of a people won't call this the lamest fight because Mike Malott took that mantle, but Machado versus Ribeiro to me was the lamest fight of the card. I mean, between Machado like smiling like he's fucking Jim Carrey and Sonic the Hedgehog, and with his stupid mustache, and between Ribeiro throwing head kicks that just whiff entirely, constantly resetting, not being able to cut Machado off, who was just skipping around the octagon doing circles the whole fight. Super boring fight, super lame fight. I did pick Ribeiro as an underdog to win, but I didn't like that fight at all. I thought it was shit. And then only to be outdone by Amir Albazi, who did absolutely nothing through 3 strikes around. It looked like absolute shit. Brandon Moreno doing the same thing Machado is doing, just, his little fucking weird smiles and face manipulations. I can't stand Brandon Moreno. That really, I turned the fight off in round 3. Towards halfway through round 3, I said, all right, Albazi's not finishing him, and he's lost every round so far, so we're fucking done here. I turned the whole fight off. So I never do that, and I did that for the first time in ever, I think. I don't think I've ever done that, but I had seen enough, and I knew my parlay was going to lose, so I just fucking called it. Yeah, so let's just, if you guys have nothing else to say, we can just go right into UFC Fight Night Vegas 100. Magny versus Prates. We got 12 fights to break down. An El Clasico, as I call it, when there's 12 fights on the card. I call that an El Clasico. Yeah, a lot to talk about here.
Is there still 12?
That's what I'm seeing on Tapology. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And some fights that have fallen off. Dalby versus Elizu Zaleski. Dalby withdrew. Cody Garbrandt versus Miles Johns. Garbrandt withdrew. Probably a smart fucking move for him. Melissa Mullins originally supposed to fight Montserrat Rendon. Rendon withdrew, but Mullins remains on the card. First fight of the night is actually Melissa Mullins. So let's talk about this one. She's 6-1, taking on a 6-1 Polish woman that we've never seen before. Number 11 ranked woman out of Poland, Claudia Sigula. Claudia Sigula versus Melissa Mullins. Let's take a look into this fight that has been added. So Melissa Mullins, no mess. I call her messy Melissa, but no mess. Melissa Mullins coming off a loss to Nora Cornole 7 months ago. Knees to the body, head kicks, knockout, loss 7 months ago. 33 years old, 8 years older than her opponent. To be noted that Melissa Mullins weighed in at 138 in her last fight. She missed weight. The Polish fighter, 25 years old, 8 years younger, is going to be coming in as a plus 195 underdog. She has won her last 2 fights over the last 2 years. Hasn't fought in a year and 1 month, but TKO'd Yulia Kutsenko, 6-9 fighter, probably in the Polish regional scene. Before that, a year and 10 months ago, she KO'd a 1-0 Anna Lobzanidze, probably another Polish regional type of fighter. But she's gonna be 5'8". So Melissa Mullins 5'7". Yeah, I mean, my instinct here is to go. Women don't perform well when they get the rug pulled out from under them and they have to have a brand new opponent a lot of the time, in my opinion. I think they don't like switch ups like that. They don't like it when you cheat on them. They don't like it when you surprise them in a negative way. So I think that this is going to harken back to some trauma that she's got. She's got tattoos. She's got dyed hair. I don't like those 2 things. That tells me, mind's not in the right place, concerned about appearance, concerned about aesthetic, not concerned about getting in that gym, making that weight like she didn't do last time. So I will be taking a dog shot. First fight of the night. Prepared to be wrong here. Personally, don't know too much about Sigula. Don't know too much about Mullins even, really. If you ask me, this fight shouldn't be on the card. If you ask me, we should – this fight and one other one, I think we should just – 2 other ones we should just not even really have on the card. It should be on a separate card, on a separate night. In a separate league, right? But that's just my opinion, man. So I'm going with Claudia Segulia. And I'll say it. She's one of two cutie pies on this card. I'll say it. One of three cutie pies on this card. So I'll say it. Claudia Segulia, cutie pie underdog. Woof woof. Let's take the women's underdog in the first fight of the night. Probably will lose. Won't bet this fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Melissa Mullins on this one. I guess she got like married or something recently. I thought she had a different name. No, I was just looking up.
I think you think she's a different person entirely, like I did. I thought that she was Marnik Mann when I saw her.
No, I did not.
Then I saw her picture. I was like, this is not Marnik Mann. Okay. When I saw Melissa Mullins, I was like, Marnik Mann, got it.
I'm gonna go with Melissa Mullins on this one. There's no way. There's just no way.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm switching to Melissa Mullins as well. Because she's fought, Daria Zelen. She beat Daria Zelenskova, who was 7-0 at the time. She beat Irina Alexieva, Mini Ronda.
Wait. All I really hope is that Jason Herzog is in there, so it's like a little stinkers, like a stepmom teaches stepson how it's done. You know what I mean? Melissa Dixon. That was her name. That was her. Melissa Dixon. That's what her name used to be. Melissa Mullins now. I'm sorry to dead name her, but yeah, Melissa Mullins being the stepmom, the other girl being the stepdaughter, and Jason Herzog being the strapping young boyfriend.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world to a guy like me. Dan, what do you think?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Mullins just because she's huge. She can wrestle. That's going to be the game plan for her. And this other chick, who I don't really know all that much about, has a couple losses from submission, and it's her first fight in the UFC. So I'm not going to go too crazy on this one. That's also part of my strategy. I'm not going crazy. I'm only going to bet a couple fights, guys. I'm only going to bet a couple. Okay, but I'm going to definitely 100% win.
I hope these ladies have like a Carlos Newton, Matt Hughes type situation, but instead it's two reverse triangles and they're both just trapped in there. All right, go on. First one to wake up wins.
Trophy certified Melissa Mullins, but pretty much a no bet situation. Okay. Antonio Tricoli, the plus 145 underdog against Mr. Trayshawn Gore. Trayshawn Gore, the Ultimate Fighter product, who faced off against Brian Battle after he pulled out against Brian Battle in the finale. Brian Battle went on to beat Gilbert Urbina, and then Trayshawn Gore and
Gilbert Arenas?
Yeah, the very same. And he was able to. Trayshawn Gore was able to get a rematch with him scheduled, and he lost to Brian Battle. And now we've seen Brian Battle go on to do tremendous things and be such a dare I say elite fighter of the division. Since then, his loss to Brian Battle, he got knocked out by Cody Brundage, who when you see Cody Brundage wins by KO TKO, you think you're going to get that third/DQ because that's the same bucket. If a fighter gets a disqualification win, it counts as getting a knockout win if you bet that. So, but actually Brundage actually finished him, and then he went on to beat Josh Fremd with a guillotine choke. Josh Fremd, who stinks to high heavens, Brundage, who stinks to high heavens. Neither of those fights impressed me. The most impressive fight Gore has is that he went to decision with Brian Battle, but that was very early in Brian's UFC career. He's improved leaps and bounds in every single performance he's had since then. So, to be honest, I think this line should be flipped, guys. I mean, I know people are not high on Tricoli. I think he got his way into the UFC with a submission on the Contender Series, but it was overturned due to maybe a alleged failed drug test, I think, maybe, if I remember correctly. Either way, he's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage, a 5-inch height advantage. He's Brazilian. He's 33 to 30 years old. He's got triple the fights of Trayshawn Gore. And I think he's stronger, more athletic, smarter, better opponent. I don't know why he's the underdog. I think this line should be flipped. I'm going with Antonio Tricoli to beat Trayshawn Gore. And when I looked at this card a week ago and I saw the upcoming fights and the upcoming lines, my first thought was this one stood out to me the most as like, that's an underdog that shouldn't be an underdog. That's a favorite that shouldn't be a favorite. So Tricoli's fighting out a full house. Call me Uncle Jesse, baby. I'm taking Tricoli.
I could have sworn he was a fight nerd. No, but you got it, dude. I guess I'll go with Tricoli myself. Another Full House reference, Dan, in case you never watched the program.
Wait, wow.
You got it.
I watched
dude.
it.
I said you got it, dude.
Oh,
That's what Michelle.
Oh, you got it, dude. Yeah.
I missed that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan. Who are you picking?
I will go with Tricoli as well. Not crazy about it. At first, I was on the Gore train, but I realized that there's a 5-inch reach, or sorry, a 5-inch height advantage, and what's he got? Like an 8-inch reach or something? Something crazy here.
I bet you were on the Gore train, you global warming fruit head.
Gore Vidal, not Al Gore.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'll go with I'll take a Tricoli dog shot. Why not? I'm not super crazy about it. I feel like Gore's gonna win though. I feel like Trayshawn Gore's gonna win, but
that will put. Go ahead, take Gore if you want.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I feel like he might be. I hate this fight. Shit. I feel like Gore might be a little faster, coming into his own, has some more UFC experience, not on the juice. I'm going to go with Gore.
Okay. That Unjoby certifies Tricoli. Okay.
Tricoli, give me the formioli.
Cody Stamann versus Damon Blackshear. Alex, why don't you take this one away first? I know you're a big fan of Damon Blackshear. You're a big fan of Cody Stamann. How do you separate the onions from the carrots in this fight here?
Pretty simply, I think that Cody Stamann's a good wrestler, but not quite great at grappling entirely. I think Blackshear is going to out-grapple him. He's a whole different level. He's going to be stronger, a little longer, not the body type that Cody Stamann has done well with in the past. Blackshear by submission. Keep it simple, stupid. Dan, what do you think?
I don't know if I'm going to predict the way the finish goes, if there's even a finish, but I love Blackshear. I'm with you on that. I think he has advantages all the way around. I think he what?
It was nothing. I'll tell you later.
All right. Okay. But yeah, I think, Stamann is kind of past his prime at this point. Getting really slow, doesn't have the power, doesn't I think he can wrestle, but can he wrestle hard for 15 minutes? I don't think so. I think Blackshear can out-grapple him. More power, more volume. Just he wins this fight everywhere. Love Blackshear here at the money line. That will be a bet, 100%.
I will go with Cody Stamann. Hungry Dog runs faster. These are both hungry dogs. One thing they have in common, their last two opponents, which they've lost to, are pretty good competition. So Montel Jackson knocked out Blackshear. What I like about Stamann here, in my head, Stamann's the bigger guy. In my head. But that's not the facts, actually. Now that I'm looking at it. 4 inches shorter, almost a foot of reach disadvantage.
He's going to be girthier for sure. And I feel like he's just going to get like Suliev stretched in this matchup. I feel like it's just going to be like a weird submission that a long guy gets on a shorter guy.
See, I feel like Blackshear, 10th planet guy, twister guy, but not necessarily the better wrestler here. I think Stamann can out-wrestle him. I think Stamann needs to win. He can get him to the ground, and I think he can win a 3-round decision against Blackshear.
Totally.
So Cody Stamann's the pick for me. And it's because I actually think Blackshear will win, but I don't know. Something tells me Stamann.
Statement's cooked. Said Statement's cooked. He ain't getting past next year.
Yeah, I'm going with okay, so next fight, we got Radke, we got Semmelsberger. What do you think here, Dan?
Charles Radke.
Something tells me Semmelsberger. This is one of those fights where it's, you know, you look at it for the first time and goes, all right, Chuck Buffalo. But that's because he's, you know, the newer fighter that's brought about a lot of buzz to the UFC. Coming off the loss. Who's his last opponent that he lost to? Anyone have that info? My
Who? Chuck Buffalo?
The main event.
Yeah,
it was the main event. The main event. Prates.
Buffalo did not fight in the main event. What are you talking about?
No,
he fought against Prates, I think.
Yes, he got knocked out by Prates with a
body shot.
Liver shot. Yeah.
Oh, by the main event fighter. Yeah. Oh, this is a tough one too. I'm gonna go with Semmelsberger. I feel like he's gonna be longer. I feel like he's a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more disciplined. What's crazy about that? Chuck Buffalo is a wild man. Semmelsberger is like a UFC vet. He's been in there in a lot of tough fights. You know, he's got some wins, got some losses, but you know he's been through the fire. Has Chuck Buffalo been through the fire once, and he got burned? All right, so I like Semmelsberger.
I think that's crazy because to say that Matthew Semmelsberger has more discipline because I feel like Matthew Semmelsberger's last 5 losses, he knocked the guy down and then just didn't finish him proper or like rocked the guy crazy and didn't follow up correctly and just completely. Huh?
That's too much discipline. If you finish a guy and then
no. He got him hurt and then like blew his load and then ended up losing the fight like in every single one of those.
Okay.
And so yeah, I just thought that part was a little crazy. And Chuck Buffalo, doesn't he train with like Bilal Muhammad? I think Chuck Buffalo is like more wrestling guy, disciplined guy.
I think he's an MMA Masters guy.
Is he? No wonder he was letting it fly. Hanging out with Colby. Anyway, he's fighting out of Wisconsin, so I don't know. Maybe he's with Duke Rufus, but I don't know. I'm going with Chuck Buffalo. I think he wins. You know, Carlos Prates is a different beast, but the same animal. Matthew Semmelsberger is a dumb brute, football player, good athlete, not a good fighter, I'd say.
Bilal Muhammad was in Charles Radke's corner.
Yeah, that night.
Yeah.
Did he denounce him or something?
What?
Did he denounce him since then?
I don't think so. But it's so funny. Where I found that, IMDb was the search result, and it says Bilal Muhammad as self, and the role was Charles Radke's cornerman, and that was in an episode of UFC called UFC on ESPN Dolodeze versus Amavov, where it's like, so does every football game have like Peyton Manning as self quarter? Like,
no, because the UFC is entertainment, and it's fixed.
Did we just crack a fucking code here?
It's like the WWE.
Yeah, here's Sherdog. Chuck Buffalo subsequently shouted out his teammate Bilal Muhammad while slamming the biggest active heel, Kobe Covington. So how does he train at MMA Masters but is slamming Kobe Covington?
I don't think he trains at MMA Masters.
So Tapology is wrong? Hey, Tapology, if you're gonna absolutely molest us with these ads every time, maybe get the fucking information right.
And you know what? The way people are reacting to the election news last night, you would think that Chuck Buffalo was saying this when the Don was in office last time. That didn't happen while the Don was in office. People weren't getting done UFC fights dropping F-bombs, okay?
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm going to, even though on his chest says blood brother pride. I'm going to go against my blood brother here and go with my fraternity brother and take Matthew Semmelsberger. I think 3 losses in a row. He's too competitive to let that happen again. We've seen a lot of good out of Matt Semmelsberger. We've seen limited good in Charles Radke's wins, right? A lot of cage control, not a ton of like dominance, a lot of just squeaking by, right? So I think Semmelsberger is going to me, Radke, when I thought he was at MMA Masters, now I guess with Bilal Muhammad, what I'm seeing out of him is a lot of pedigree. I'm seeing game planning. I'm seeing coaching. I'm seeing a guy who can maybe listen to his coaches, right? But what I don't see is the athleticism, the competitiveness that Semmelsberger brings to the table, the experience, the strength of schedule that Semmelsberger brings to the table. And got to be honest, I believe Radke will be hungry as fuck. But I believe Semmelsberger, 3 losses in a row, he's fighting for his job here. We're going to see a smart, conditioned, improved Matt Semmelsberger here. I'm going Matt Semmelsberger.
That's right.
But blood brother pride.
Respect, brother Hart.
Zaleski remains on the card. His opponent, Dalby, has pulled out. He is fighting Zach Scroggin, not David Goggins, not
Walter Scroggin.
Not Walden Goggins. And not even, who's that other guy with the tattoos? Dustin Scoggins. Who's the Scoggins guy who fights in the UFC? Fought in the UFC.
Justin Scoggins?
Not Justin Scoggins. Where's he been? Bring Scoggins back. I like that guy.
I thought he was a fun flyweight. He was gone like the second he lost. I didn't get it.
Yeah, great tattoos. So yeah, Zaleski Capoeira Zaleski is coming off a decision loss to Randy Brown, coming off a majority decision loss against a draw to Hanat Fakhretdinov, coming off of a split decision win against Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov, coming off a decision win against Benoit Saint-Denis, coming off a split decision loss to Muslim Salikov. This guy is a decision machine. Over 5 years, everything's gone to decision. How many decisions does this guy have in his whole career? Mr. Capoeira. 14 wins by knockout, 7 wins by decision, 5 of them coming in his last 5 fights. His last 6 fights. Last 6 fights in a row were decisions. Only finish he's ever... Well, he's had a lot of UFC fights. He finished Sean Strickland, finished Luigi Venturamini, finished Curtis Millender. But yeah, 9 fights in the UFC.
He did lose to Nicholas Dalby in 2015 in the UFC, Zaleski.
Yeah, by decision. Split decision. Split decision lost to... So this guy, he's got 10 UFC wins, 4 losses. But of his UFC wins, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So half of his wins come by in the UFC have come by decision. The other half by finish. So you got to ask yourself, right? Who is this guy, Zach Scroggin? He's out of the United States, marathon MMA. He's going to be taller. He's going to be longer. Fighting out of Kansas. Trains with Trey Ogden. Trains with Mike Breeden. Trains with Garrett Armfeld. Dare I say, this line is crazy. You got a 37-year-old. You got a minus 550 for Capoeira Zaleski. Plus 400, Zach Scroggin. Last time we saw something like this was Jake Hadley taking on, what's that guy's name? It's like Backpacker or like Long Journey. What's his name? It's like
Weston Wilson?
No. Jake Hadley's last fight. He fought Cameron Smotherman. I knew it was something like Smotherman or like
Hiker.
I said Backpacker. I said Long Journey. They're close. They're not close at all, but they're close if we're playing password here. Okay. I'm going with Zach Scroggin. Hey, fuck it. I mean, I don't believe Zaleski should be a minus 550 favorite at 37 years old at 170 against anyone. 170, it's that key weight class where if you're over the age of even 30, 34, 35, we see a huge drop off in win percentage. Somebody will come out and say, yeah, those are title fights. Look into the stats. I'm sure you can find it not to be much different. 170 and below. I mean, 35 years old is too old. I think Zaleski, his style, capoeira. If Scroggins comes in out of Kansas with Trey Ogden, Mike Breeden, fucking Garrett Armfeld, guys who I'm impressed with, right? I mean, maybe they're not mainstay names. Maybe they're not like elite contenders, but they've impressed me with what they've done with their tools and how they train and how they come into fights and how prepared they are. He's going to be taller. He's going to be longer. He's going to be younger. Sure, he's only 7-0, but he's never lost. This guy, other guy's got 8 losses, right? Sure, he hasn't really fought anybody, but the fights he has, he's finishing. He's got 7 fights, and in those 7 fights, he's gotten I think everybody but 1 out of there, right? Yeah, 2 decision wins, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions. His last fight was for the FAC championship. Won the belt. The UFC doesn't just draft duds, right? I mean, and in a fight against Dalby, Capoeira lost to him already, and Dalby's an old guy too. That would have been a more interesting kind of fight to predict. This one, I think, it's just dog or pass for me. I mean, I'm not taking Zaleski at -550, so the pick for me, the bet for me even, will be Scroggins.
I'm going to second you on that. I'm also going to go with Scroggins. If you look at the Tapology page, Zaleski, they list him for his age to be 37 years, 11 months, and 4 weeks. Where I come from, that's 38. What month is more than 4 weeks? What's going on here?
Is his 38th birthday the day after the fight? I mean,
it's got to be something like that. I don't know.
3 days after the fight, max. I mean,
it's very weird, but that's Tapology for you. But
plus
I agree.
9 months in the womb.
What's that?
Plus the 9 months in the womb, and that first year you're 0 to 1. But really, when you turn 1, you're 1.
No.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's not how it works. No.
When you turn 1, it's the start of your 2nd year. So when he turns 38, it's the start of his 39th year lived.
Correct. 100% correct. And Scroggins, I mean, he's a healthy 28 years, 8 months. He's got that solid 4-month cushion there. So, but I like the thing that stuck out to me is he's a Trey Ogden guy. Now, I might have gotten over my skis a little bit with saying that Matt Semmelsberger is super disciplined or whatever. I might take that back. Pick is still Semmelsberger. But who is very disciplined? Trey Ogden. All right. That's the guy who really just juices out all the possible potential in his body. That guy, he's not much of an athlete, but how does he get by? How does he get pretty quality wins? He's a smart guy, understands the game. He's disciplined. And I feel like he runs a disciplined camp. A lot of those fighters are really good. Like Lukey said, Garrett Armfield, no bad blood there, buddy. I know you won that fight. And I think this kid's going to come in with, some solid takedowns. It looks like he's got a couple submissions on his record. And maybe, Ogden tells him, hey, this guy's a capoeira dude. He's good. But once he throws out one of those crazy flying kicks, you get in there, you get a single leg and take him down. So I like Scroggin here. I'll take a look at the tape. This is the first time I've been notified that the fights were changed up a little bit, but at plus 440 for like a little solo bet, it's adding up for me.
Give me Scoggins, Triple P certified Scoggins. I thought I was going to come in here with a hot take. I didn't even know these boys would know that this fight was on the card. It was just announced today. So I'm going.
I didn't.
I'm going with Scoggins. He's standing at 6'3". He's going to be towering over Zaleski. He's going to beat the piss out of Zaleski. Zaleski's only got like a round and a half in him. That's why he has so many split decisions. I'm going with Zaleski. He'll win the first round 10-8, lose the second round, and you know how it goes. You know how split decision works.
Well, hey, I mean, if that's the case, you'll get an even juicier line on Scoggins after round 1, right?
Yeah. Darn tootin'.
Cortavius Ramos, 9-2 bantamweight, number 12 ranked bantamweight regionally, takes on Gaston Bolanos, 7-4.
Battle of the Harry Potter spells. Cortavius Ramos. This is Gaston Bolaños.
That is a great little thing you did there. Yeah, I agree. So Cortavius Ramos, Michael Imperiato is his last fight. Imperiato! That's a Harry Potter spell as well. He's coming off the Contender Series. He lost his first fight by knockout to Ramon Tavares on the Contender Series a year ago. Got one fight submission win against a 15-28 guy, Eric Vo. 15-28. I'll say it again. 15-28, Eric Vo. Dana White was hard on Torres Finney for getting one fight between his Contender Series opportunity and his next shot. Meanwhile, this guy, Cortavius Ramos, 5'4". Can you believe that? Shorter, way shorter.
Wait, what? He's 5'4"?
5'4". Way shorter than me. Way shorter than me.
Like Luke, in Dana White's defense, while Finney hasn't gotten any fights, April 20th was when Eric Vo fought Homeboy, and he's picked up 5 more losses since.
Let Eric Vo in. I mean, he's showing up, So, yeah, minus 175 favorite against a guy who's got a decision win in the Contender Series, 2 months ago, versus a guy who lost to Marcus McGee, who's a beast, standing TKO, right? But before that, beats Aaron Phillips. Before that, knocked somebody out in Bellator. Couple, losses in Bellator. I definitely see paths to victory for Ramos, but I don't know. I mean, Bolaños, 32, Peruvian, taller, little bit of a reach advantage. I'm gonna go with Bolaños here, plus 140 underdog. He's got a bit of a kiss of death on him, but I'm gonna need to see a little bit more out of Ramos before I jump in at minus 175 against on a guy who's making his UFC debut at 30 years old. So yeah, give me Gaston Bolaños.
I like what you're saying there. I'm also a little miffed by the line. I mean, is this guy like what's the deal? Did Dana White just look at his? I think Dana just looked at his Tapology picture and was like, "Oh shit, he must be good. He's got a 12-pack." But he's fighting in Northern Iowa Fight Club or something. Sounds like a smoker's gym or something. Bolaños, he's been doing the thing for a while. He was in Bellator, right? That's how he found his way onto Roki's show. I just feel like the striking might be. Although, is this guy like a crazy wrestler? That's why he's like 5'4" and jacked and fights out of Iowa.
I think that's what it is. I think that he's got wrestling and good ground game, and I think that he's got 5 submission wins. Bolaños has 2 submission losses. I think.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going with the crowd here. I'm going with the favorite because Bolaños, I don't think has any grappling whatsoever, and this guy's is all full of piss and vinegar, just looking to get his first UFC win. As long as he doesn't gas, as long as he can actually wrestle for 15 minutes, which he's fighting out of Iowa, I would assume that he has some durability there. I'll go with the favorite, but obviously, you look at my pick here. I never even saw the guy fight, so take
Gaston Bolaños is a fucking loser, and his relationship with his dad is weird. I'll be the first to say it. After seeing them on Joe Rogan, I was like, "This is weird to me. This is not."
You have a relationship with your dad?
This is not
advantage. Not the best. Not the best style for MMA. I will say that. Not the best base.
Tom Aspinall will tell you otherwise. Him and his dad, thick as thieves. They have a good relationship.
So what's Bolaños' relationship with his dad?
You know what? I'll just tell you what. Watch their appearance on Joe.
I will not
watch their appearance on Joe Rogan together from 5-6 years ago. I remember it struck me as odd then, and I remember no matter how many cool spinning back elbow knockouts you get, there's something off about you, and I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but I'll find it. I'll find it eventually. And he made his way to the UFC, and I'm on to him more than ever. And he's gonna lose this fight. He stinks, and he's a weirdo. I'm going with the wrestler from Iowa. Yeah, you guys are so silly.
What?
You're just so silly.
We picked the wrestler.
This guy fought David Onama. You're talking about how he has no experience. He fought David Onama. Yeah, you can throw an Eric Vo in there every now and then when you fought David Onama.
All right.
Went to a decision with David Onama.
I'm not seeing anything about him wrestling ever. For any, not from.
Look at him. Just look at him. Look at these two guys.
I'm not seeing anything about him ever having a career wrestling, amateur or high school or anything.
Maybe he went by a different name then.
I'm just doing one more Google search on this. How do you spell amateur? Fuck.
T-E-U-R.
I'm not seeing anything at all about him ever wrestling.
Listen, guys, just watch the tape, okay? Watch the tape and tell me you think just because an old dude who did a couple of spinning back elbows, went on Joe Rogan and became really popular, who's still fighting on the prelims of a UFC card. You tell me. You tell me.
We got a couple of Rogan guests on this card. We got Jillian Robertson fighting as well.
She was on JRE.
Oh, yeah.
What, was Michelle Watterson busy?
That was funny as hell. Woo!
All right, next we got my sweetheart, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, the sweetest girl, just a little girl from Poland, living big dreams. But she's not so little anymore. She's 39 years old, and she's coming off a decision loss. Amazing little run she put together. I mean, she was able to beat Felice Herring. She was able to beat Silviana Gomez-Juarez. She was able to beat Vanessa Demopoulos. She was able to beat Diana Belbita. Nice little streak she put together after quite the losing streak. She lost to Andrade, Waterson Gomez, Grasso, Zhao Nanjian, and Jessica Penne. 5 losses in a row.
She was one of the women that you told your daughter that's a hero right there.
That's a hero.
I mean, she beat the champ, Rose Namajunas, by split decision. She went all the way at Madison Square Garden, Alvarez versus McGregor card, November 12th. She fought Joanna Young-Jacek. They were both undefeated at the time. And that was her first loss, was to Joanna. Before that, her and Joanna fought in the amateurs, and that was her only other loss. So, she beat Mizuki Inoue before that fight. She beat, like I said, Rose. She beat a lot of good people, and then
got a lot of fights, huh?
a lot of fights. And I love Karolina. I think she's just a really special young lady. But decision machine. Not a lot of finishes, not a lot of stopping power. I think Denise Gomez. This is a fighter who, she loses a split decision to Angela Hill, but she knocks out Bruna Brazil. She knocks out Yasmin Yargwai, who beat, look, I don't think it's in the realm of possibility that Karolina has much to keep Denise at bay. I think Denise finishes Karolina Kowalkiewicz, sadly, early.
I thought Denise Gomez was Yasmin Lucindo.
I thought Yasmin Yargwai was Yasmin Lucindo.
Oh my gosh, this is too much.
I thought Denise Gomez was.
I'm entering the Spider-Verse right now.
Josiane Nunes. I thought Denise Gomez was Josie Nunes.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine Josie Nunes going up against Karolina Kowalkiewicz? That would be the saddest day.
Women's 115 is a lot like men's heavyweight. There's a lot of these similar guys. Harry Hunsucker is Chase Sherman, is Jared Van Deret, is. These guys are a lot. They are the same guy in a lot of ways. So, Carlos Felipe is Tanner Boser, right? Like these guys are
all. I'm gonna go with Denise Gomes as well, probably by brutal KO finish. I think she puts Kowalkiewicz away, a rare ladies KO.
Yeah, I think Denise Gomes. Big time knockout coming. My voice scratchy. Yeah, I like Denise Gomes here. Big time favorite. Don't love that in the lady fight, but Karolina at this point just doesn't have the firepower to keep Gomes at bay. I think Gomes, also probably isn't going to gas out. It's got that beautiful combination of throws really hard but doesn't gas out. Got some good cardio, so I think one of those bombs is going to connect. And it's unfortunate because we all love Carolina, but this is going to be a Gomez night.
Okay, next we got Dusko Todorovic versus Mansour Abdul Malik. 12-4, Dusko Todorovic taking on Malik, who is 6-0. If you take a look, Mansour is fighting out of Columbia, Maryland. Interesting. Very interesting. Very familiar with that area. MMA
nice area?
What?
Nice area?
Kind of a corporate business park type of area. Not really so much residential, more so like I would compare it to I don't really know, but he's got a win over Wes Schultz 2 months ago in the Contender Series to bounce him into the UFC. Not a ton of experience, but 6 inches of reach over the Serbian, who was coming off the knockout a year and 7 months ago to Christian Leroy Duncan. I think you kind of have to too much of a favorite, but you're not going to catch me betting Dusko in this situation, I don't think, unless you guys have a better opinion on the matter.
Let me talk you into it. I love Dusko. Love Dusko for the vast majority that we've had this show. I feel like he's a very underrated fighter. A couple of his losses just seems like he zigged when he should have zagged. A couple of unfortunate situations, but ultimately,
it's a very difficult situation.
Huh?
It's a very difficult situation.
It's a very difficult situation. I gotta go with my boy Dusko. I'll take that plus 300 price tag on it. Again, guy could wrestle, guy could strike, guy could do everything. Chin is a little suspect, so that has me a little bit nervous. But maybe if you want to do like, actually, I wouldn't do like a double change.
His knee is a little suspect too. No, didn't he just tear his ACL like last fight?
He had some injury. Guy's always.
Hey, I want to point this out real quick. Denise Gomez by KO plus 300.
What? That makes me want to bet Carolina. That tells me something.
No, it tells you nothing. It's a trap. And then the under 2.5 rounds. Denise Gomez versus Carolina. The under 2.5 rounds plus 215.
Plus 300 is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Dusko here. Complete UFC newcomer against a vet. I think that might be the story of the card.
Give me Abdul Malik knockout.
Okay. Yeah, I think Dusko is just a little bit too slow. He doesn't move his head. He stands in a straight line. I think Malik can tag him probably. Hasn't fought in a year and 7 months. Going to be a little stiff in there. Okay. Jillian Robertson versus Luana Pinheiro. Pinheiro plus 200 underdog coming off getting submitted by Angela Hill, coming off getting knocked out with that spinning wheel kick late in the fight versus Amanda Hebas. A fight she was winning, I believe. Jillian Robertson KO against Polyana Viana, decision against Michelle Waterson Gomez in an absolute beatdown of a fight. Only loss in her last 5 is to Tabitha Ricci, who can do no wrong in my eyes. These two girls, I mean, look, I can't stand Jillian Robertson. No offense to Din Thomas. No offense to all the Jillian Robertson stands out there. But she, to me, is annoying. But I do think that if you're getting submitted by Angela Hill, 16-13 Angela Hill, who is 50 years old, who is a Muay Thai fighter, who albeit has improved, a lot in her ground game, but this chick's from Brazil. You're 30 years old from Brazil getting submitted by 55-year-old Angela Hill 5 months ago. This wasn't 2016. This was 5 months ago. She was in there against Angela Hill. She got submitted. I think they're setting Jillian Robertson up to possibly contend for a title at some point. I think that Dean Thomas is on the inside pulling some strings. I think Jillian Robertson is going to take down, smother, if not submit, Luana Pinheiro. If Angela Hill can do it, surely Jillian Robertson can do it. So give me Jillian Robertson by either domination or just submission.
Jillian Robertson all the way. I think she gets the finish in this one. Don't know if it's going to be by sub. Don't know if it's going to be by TKO. She lands some big strikes from the top against Michelle Waterson. And I think she'll be able to do the same in this one. And I don't know whether she's going to get it done by sub or KO, but we'll figure it out when we get there. She's going to finish it, though, I believe.
I mean, honestly, I think you can probably get Gomez because she might just drop Carolina. She might turtle up and she might submit her too. That's a possibility. But if you go, and I'm surprised they have so many prop bets out for this weekend's card. Yeah, Denise Gomez by KO or submission plus 220. Pretty much
we're recording so late.
Pretty much the same as the under 2.5, right? So, yeah, but usually they don't have these props out until Friday. I think in a lot of cases, many such cases. Yeah. So 2 for Jillian Robertson. What will you take, Dan?
I'm going to go with a meatball sub. I'm going Jillian Robertson by submission. Easy takedown, easy rear naked. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
She is not Meatball Marnik Man, dude. What are you talking about?
Well, make it an Italian sub. I don't know, Canadian sub, I guess.
Meatball Megan Murphy.
Who's the other meatball? Yeah, Meatball Murphy. Meatball Murphy. Well, let's see. Jillian Robertson by submission plus 130. Plus 130 by submission. By KO TKO plus 550. You know, I think that's possible. So if you look at double chance, Jillian by KO or submission minus 135. I think don't get greedy. You take. I think you parlay. A little bit of action with Robertson by finish, Gomez by finish. And that right there, I mean, is going to give you probably like your plus 300, plus 350, line. So, all right. 3 fights left to break down. We're cooking with hot gas today, boys. I don't believe we've had a single beside the only trophy certified pick I'm seeing is Melissa Mullins and then Scroggins and then Gomez so far and Robertson. So 4. 4. Gerald Meerschaert, 37-17 versus 17-2. Renee, the Dutch Knight, the Ritter. The Ritter has, 2 finish. He was finished by Anatoly Mal.
Both for titles. He was the light heavyweight and middleweight champion of one championship. One of those losses, he actually went up to fight for the heavyweight champion while having both the middleweight and light heavyweight belts.
And one is a great promotion. They have a lot of talent in one. To me, it's the Ritter. It's the Ritter by knockout. I think the Ritter goes in and puts it on Gerald Meerschaert. 2 wins in a row, both by submission. Don't see it happening here. The one thing I don't love is the age gap, but I love the size gap. He's going to be taller, longer. He's going to be hardier. He doesn't look like he's wearing the age. He's not as slow or as. I mean, when Meerschaert looks bad, he looks really fucking bad. I mean, the fight he looked the absolute worst in my opinion, wasn't even the Joe Pyfer knockout. Wasn't even the Hamza Chimaev knockout. The fights where he's looked terrible. The Christoph Jocko decision. I mean, he lost that decision. He didn't do jack shit. Yeah, he can pull out some submissions here and there. He's got the most submissions. I mean, the man has 29 submission wins professionally. In the UFC, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think it'll say it at the top.
9, 10, 11, 12, 11 UFC submission wins out of 29 total submissions in his career. Tremendously impressive. Don't see it happening here. Jerome DeRitter, Renee DeRitter by knockout.
Yeah, I usually like to come into these fresh, but since we recorded so late and the Guru was locked up all weekend, so we had a little bit of a content drought. I had to tune in and see what he had to say, and he brought up a great point about grapplers. When they get into these matchups where they're stuck standing, they get stuck in the clinch a lot, right? And DeRitter has some nasty knees. being a Dutchman himself, got to go with Ritter. I love Ritter. I liked him when he was in one as well. Watched quite a few of his fights while he was in one. I think he's going to tear through Gerald Meerschaert. Don't necessarily think he's going to become a champion in the UFC, but I think he should dispose of Meerschaert pretty easily.
I'm going to go with the Riddler. He's going to get this thing done. He's got the striking chops. He's got the grappling chops, not Gerald Meerschaert. It's the opposite. It's the new guy coming in. He was a champion in what, like one or something? That's his deal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I like me some of that. One's got
double champ in one.
Double champ. One's got a fine organization over there. So, not coming into spring chicken. Obvious setup spot. I mean, a Gerald Meerschaert fight is, he set up Khamzat, a bunch of these guys. So the UFC knows what they're doing. I'm going with the Riddler.
Okay, beautiful. Just two fights left to break down. Trophy Certify RDR. That's what I'm going to be calling him now. RDR. Why do I keep wanting to call him Jerome de Ritter? Is there a
Red
guy
Dead Redemption?
There's somebody in Red Dead Redemption named Jerome de Ritter?
No, RDR.
Oh, Red Dead Redemption, fantastic. But no, who's Jerome de Ritter?
How about Jerome Rivera? He's got a little bit of the same patois.
No. Let me look it up. Jerome de Ritter.
There's no fucking Jerome de Ritter.
He's a professor at our fucking college, Dan. Dude, that's fucking crazy. I knew that name. I fucking knew. I was like, why do I keep saying Jerome de Ritter? Jerome de Ritter, Jerome de Ritter. Shout out to Professor de Ritter. Fantastic professor. I think. I don't know. I forget what he looks like. I think I know. Yeah, I know who this guy. That's fucking right, man. Yes, he's got a great rating on.
Clearly, you know who the fuck he is, dude.
Yes. I love de Ritter. De Ritter is the guy who let you take an open book final. Shout out to Jerome de Ritter. He was about 99 years old when I was in school, and he's the man. He's the man. If he's still teaching accounting, you need that for your gen ed. You take Jerome de Ritter. You got an open book final. You can't fail.
Man, he's got a 2.3 out of 5.
There's only two ratings. There's only two ratings. One's a 5 and one's a 1. So that's a fucking nerd who says 1, who's like, I didn't learn anything. And then you got a 5 who goes open book final. He's a fantastic man. I don't care. And even look at the one. Look at the person who rated him 1. The person who rated him 1. He says he does really care about his students. They rated him a 1 for difficulty. Okay.
I see this. Oh my God!
It says I went 60% of the classes and I got an A.
Yeah,
He gives you a word for word study guide for the exams. This is all true.
The other guy goes, de Ritter is the man. Helpful anytime to go see him. Here's the kicker. Works with students if you need to change project dates, and etc. Take him.
Yeah, take him. I would recommend taking him as well. He lets you text in class, kids. Okay.
Drinking class too.
Like I said, he's 99 years old. He probably thinks you were using a calculator. It's accounting class. I mean, come on. And hey, I'm a great accountant. Look, I'm accounting every single week here for you guys. 17, 65, 65. Math, it's math all the time over here. All right, Ricky Turquoise versus Bernardo Sopage. Bernardo Sopage, minus 350 favorite, coming off getting knocked out 8 months ago. Love to see that, don't you? Made his debut 8 months ago, got knocked the fuck out. Now he's a minus 350 favorite against a guy who has beaten the Kevin Natividad by split decision, has beaten Brady Heinstad by split decision, has, I believe, won the Ultimate Fighter, right? Didn't Ricky Turquoise win the Ultimate Fighter?
Against Brady Heinstad.
Yeah. He lost to Ayman Zahabi by decision, who is really good. He got submitted by Raul Rosas Jr., who is really good. And if you had made Raul step out there and fight him on that day where he had a bellyache, he would have lost that night. I guarantee it. So I kind of like a shot on the underdog, Ricky Turquoise. If his striking wasn't so bad, if he didn't strike like a fucking woman in there, I mean, he strikes, he fucking punches air and makes noises. He's striking like he's fucking Karolina Kowalkiewicz in there, to be honest with you. So I don't have a ton of respect for his striking game or his ground game. I don't know how the fuck he gets this one done, but I'm just saying the line should not be like this. The line should be minus 115. This is not a who is this guy? Who is this fucking guy
he fought Vinicius Oliveira.
He's put together 5 fights in 4 years. I mean, he's not even active. He's 24 years old, sure, but I mean, Sopaj, I don't know. I'm taking Sopaj, but I don't like the line. And I won't be betting it. I'm taking Sopaj. I'm taking Sopaj for my official pick just because it's like, well, I don't really see any redeeming quality to Ricky Turquoise' game, especially if this guy Sopaj can strike, which it appears he can, having 7 knockout wins. You know, I don't know. I mean, he hasn't really fought nobody. I don't love the line. I do think he wins. It doesn't make sense. He trains at All Stars Training Center. You know, Gustafsson, a lot of good guys over there. So I think he's got to rebound from that knockout loss. He's young enough, 24, where it shouldn't matter that much that he got knocked out. So I'll take Sopaj. I won't be betting it. If anything, I might bet Ricky Turquoise, but I will be taking Sopaj for. I don't know what I'm really saying. You know, if I'm saying I'm going to bet Ricky Turquoise, if I'm saying I don't want to bet Sopaj, sounds to me like I'm taking Ricky Turquoise, but I don't know. What do I do here, guys? This is crazy.
Well, I'm going to go with Sopaj. I thought he was super impressive in that matchup with Vinicius, even winning a bunch of moments, even though he got knocked out in the 3rd round. He took that on super short notice and was kind of gassing out there. He was mixing it up well, though. I remember watching that fight and thinking, Vinicius Oliveira sucks. What was I thinking? Sopaj might win this. And then, whooping, he gets knocked out.
Yeah. And you know, Oliveira, who was originally supposed to fight Giannis Gamora, you're right. He did take that fight on short notice. And since then, you know, he won against Ricky Simone by decision. And yeah, you're right about that. Okay, yeah. I'll go with Sopaj then emphatically, and I won't bet Ricky Turquoise. Act of good faith.
I'm gonna go with Sopaj. Very good striker. Like you said, Luke, Ricky Turquoise, don't see the redeeming qualities, don't see the redeeming value. Other than he's just like female tennis player there for all the strikes he throws.
He's quirky. That's why people like him, because he's quirky and he was fun on The Ultimate Fighter and has a interesting personality. He likes Avatar, and you know,
he said that shit to Raul Rosas, like, you know, you broke Bushido code.
Well, Bushido code is a real thing.
Honestly, he's like Tony. He's like Tony Ferguson.
He is.
Tony Ferguson with no excuse to be like Tony Ferguson. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't been through the wars. He hasn't had the head trauma that Tony has had. You know, it's like he's as weird, and he's like Tony Jr. in a lot of ways. And his striking is kind of weird, herky jerky, leaving way too many holes. You know,
accepts bottom position, stays there.
Will be elbowing from the bottom and just Bushido moron. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm watching Game of Thrones.
Spelling bees.
I'm watching Game of Thrones, and you know, the imp's sword, Braun, I think his name is. He's training Jaime Lannister how to fight, and he's like, "You grew up fighting in castles. There's no honor in fighting," and smacks him in the face with his own hand, the golden hand. He's like, "If you fight with honor, you're gonna end up dead." Bushido code doesn't exist, okay? You don't fight with honor. You hit people with cheap shots. You do what it takes. Shout out Paul Semtex Daily.
And shout out to Miyamoto Musashi. You know, Raul Rosas Jr. did the Miyamoto Musashi. He said, yeah, we'll fight. And he kept them fucking waiting. Miyamoto Musashi used to say, we'll fight. We'll fight tomorrow at fucking sunrise. And then this guy would get up early, not get any sleep the night before, so nervous, and he would go and he'd wait. And then he'd be waiting and waiting and waiting. And it'd be fucking 2:30 in the afternoon by the time Miyamoto Musashi rolled in on his boat. And he'd say, all right, let's fucking fight. I think I would be sitting there getting his stomach in knots all day waiting. It's like icing a kicker. You know what I mean? He would just ice him. And then he'd show up when he was good and ready and fucking kill the guy. So, yeah, that's how Raul Rosas Jr. could play that angle. But cool. So, Trophy certified Bolanos here. And
Sopaj.
Bernardo Sopash. Sorry. Okay, main event time. Carlos the Nightmare Prates versus Neil Magny. Listen, this is my take on this. A lot of guys, a lot of other channels that you might watch are going to be getting really cute and really skeptical this week. They're going to be sitting there telling you, I don't know. I mean, we saw Neil Magny with Mike Malott.
Neil Magny matters.
They're going to be telling you that they're going to be telling you Neil Magny matters. Chael Sonnen's going to come out here and he's going to say, I just saw the line, you guys. And Neil Magny is
Neil Magny matters.
I don't think Neil Magny matters. I think Neil Magny looked like an absolute bitch against Ian Gary. I think Neil Magny looked like a bitch against Gilbert Burns. Hey, I thought you're a jiu-jitsu guy. Why'd you get ran through like a hot knife through butter? When others haven't against Burns, right? Burns hasn't. Either way, my point is this. Neil Magny does not matter. And Neil Magny shouldn't have got that win against Mike Malott. I think that Neil Magny is going to get knocked the fuck out here. I think that he's going to get put on skates. He's going to be doing the chicken dance. He's going to be doing the stanky leg. He's going to get slept, beat the fuck up, however you want to put it. But Prates by finish. A lot of other channels are going to get cute telling you that Prates smokes cigarettes and he's going to gas out. That ain't happening, okay? Prates by finish, Prates by KO.
People who smoke cigarettes probably have the best cardio in the world.
It's like you're training your lungs. You know what I mean? You're like putting your lungs through the
You're doing what is that CO2 max device or whatever? Is that what it's called?
Opening up your lung capacity.
You're opening it up all day.
And then when you don't smoke, like for those few hours before the fight where he's not smoking, his lungs be like, oh shit, we feel fucking. It's like swinging a baseball bat. You got the weights on it.
Yeah.
And then you take the weights off. His lungs are like, I'm fucking feeling great right now.
And he's pissed. and he's got the steam coming out of his ears.
All right, I got to pee real quick before we wrap this up. Again, take your time, Dan. Break this down.
Luke, this is the second time Luke has just trampled over my breakdown and just kicked it to you. I'm going with the Prates. This is going to be far, far, far worse than the Ian Gary fight. With the leg kicks, with the diverse striking, with Neil Magny on Bambi legs. It's not going to be good. Mike Malott sucks. That's the one thing I learned from this past weekend. He fought Trevin Giles this past weekend, right?
Yes.
That was a terrible fight. Mike Malott stinks. Neil Magny is good. I think Neil Magny plays an important part in this division. He's like the first stepping stone they get to before you get a ranking and start fighting in the top 10. But Prates is just going to be a little bit too much for him, a little bit too fast, a little bit too much sting on those punches. And Neil Magny cannot handle leg kicks at all. He's going to get walked through worse than Ian Gary walked through him.
Neil Magny looks like Angela Hill. Let's be real. And he fights like Angela Hill too.
When they do the braids, when they do their braids in the same way, the tight ones.
And you see that video of Phil Rowe like bullying his training partner. I think I sent it to you, Alex.
Maybe.
Either way,
was it as bad as Kevin Holland smoking a blunt while he was wrestling against?
Yeah, it was that bad. It was that bad. He was like making fun of him and stuff. He's making fun of him. So it's like, hey, Phil Rowe, you fought Neil Magny and you lost, and you didn't get him to the ground. You didn't grapple him. You didn't do shit. So I mean, yeah, maybe some fucking guy who just came from working a construction job gets beat by you, but in your gym. But when the lights are brightest, you fucking failed the test that the UFC gave you, which is just get past Neil Magny. My opinion is that the UFC is sacrificing a lot of their gatekeeper kind of guys. Jerome DeRitter versus Meerschaert, Neil Magny versus Prates, and then Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Gomez. I think they're kind of serving up a lot of people to get slaughtered by youth in this match, in this thing.
It's time for a new era, new blood. We need new blood in the mix. We need new gatekeepers.
And you know what? I'm going to switch to Cortavius Ramios. I mean, it would make me feel better if I was able to sniff out any wrestling experience he's ever had. But I'm going to switch and Triple B certify Cortavius Ramios. I'm going to Triple B certify him.
Those are abs that just won't quit.
Absolutely not. They will never quit.
I will take one of our very few Triple P certified picks here with Carlos Prates. These guys said it all. He's going to be just beating the snot out of Neil Magny, whether it's the leg kicks or going up high, and he's going to have a celebratory stogie right afterwards. So that'll be a fun little thing to check out at the post fight. But that's going to be a wrap for me and my picks. Carlos Prates, KO? I think so.
Okay, let's get through it real quick. We'll run through our full picks top to bottom, make sure I have these accurately in the open bet sheet, and we'll get out of here. Who wants to go first?
Ooh, I'm pulling up the tap. All right, I'll go first. I got Melissa Mullins, followed by Trayshawn Gore, Damon Blackshear. Oh, yeah, I'll take him. Let's go with Semmelsberger. Waffling on that one. We're then going to go to Zach Scroggin, followed by Cortavius Ramius, Denise Gomes, Dusko Todorovic, Jillian Robertson, the Riddler, Rainier de Ritter, Bernardo Sopage, and Carlos Prates.
All right. And if you are rolling with me, you're going with Prates, Sopage, Rainier de Ritter, Jillian Robertson, Mansour Abdul Malik, Denise Gomez, Cortavius Ramius, Zach Scroggins, Charles Radke, Damon Blackshear, Antonio Tricoli, and Melissa Mullins.
Okay. If you're going with me, you will be taking Melissa Mullins, Antonio Tricoli, Cody Stamen. A little bit weary on that one, but I'm going to stick with it for now. Matt Semmelsberger, Zach Scroggin. I'm sure we'll be certifying Ramius, even though I picked Bolanos. I'm switching to Ramius. Then Denise Gomez, Manuel Abdul Malak, Jillian Robertson, Jerome DeRitter, Sopage, Prates. A lot of Trophy certified picks on this week's card, including a giant underdog in Scoggins. So Melissa Mullins, Trophy certified. Zach Scroggin, Trophy certified plus 400 underdog. Cortavius Ramius, Trophy certified. Denise Gomez, Trophy certified. Jillian Robertson, Trophy certified. Rainier de Ritter, Trophy certified. Bernardo Sopage, Trophy certified. And Carlos Prates, Trophy certified. Prates, Sopage, RDR, Robertson, Gomez, Ramios, Scroggin, and Mullins for a total of 8 out of 12 Trophy certified picks. Splitting hairs a little bit with the Gore Tricoli fight, Blackshear Stamen, but like I said, Blackshear, you can kind of count him too, because I'm kind of leaning against Stamen now, but I'm still picking him. Semi the Jedi, and then Dusko, Dan picked Dusko. But other than that, we're pretty much lockstep in this card. I think this could be a card with a lot of these big favorites winning, but I look at it like a market cap, right? It's a bubble with every big favorite that you pile on there. Eventually, you got to let some air out of the bubble, let some air out of the tire, and I think that's where Scroggin might come in. So, for every minus 600 Prates you're gonna get some bounce back, some of the elasticity snapping back, and I think Scroggin could be that one amongst maybe one or two other slight favorites. So I'm gonna make some picks. Check out my open bet sheet, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining the show. Please give us a comment, give us a starter comment, give us a starter like. Make sure you say what you think. If you have information we don't have, give it to us, and let us know how you're winning, how you're losing, etc. I want to say this: our Trophy certified accuracy.
And if you have any dirt on the fighters, give us that too.
Yep. And if you made it this long in the episode, you are about to get the most important information right here. So, we are about halfway through year 5, and I am at 55% accuracy, 135 correct picks at a 244 given. Alex is just behind me, 132 at a 244, 54% accuracy. Dan leads the pack, 144 correct picks at a 244 given, 59% accurate Dan is right now. So, Trilby certified picks, 62 out of 91, 68% accurate Trilby certified picks, knocking on the door of 70%. Going to be hard with 8 picks given this week, you know, in a 12-play card to, I mean, hey, if we get 8 out of 8, we're fucking probably at 70%. But my point is, yeah, we would be 70 out of 99. So we would be above 70% if we get all 8 of these correct this week. So we're knocking on the door of 70%. We went 5 out of 5 last week. Trilby certified picks. Aaron Blanchfield, Mike Malott, Eamon Zahabi, Alexander Romanoff, and Cody Gibson were your 5 Trilby certified picks last week that all won 5 out of 5. Now here's the kicker. 68% accurate in year 5 so far halfway through. We finished year 4 159 out of 246, 64.6% accurate. So 65% year 4, 68% year 5. You mash them together. What do you get? You get an implied probability that is around minus 190. So minus 190 being your break-even point. If you had gone back in time and I simulated this and bet every fight this year minus 190 or better, you would be, and this math isn't perfect because some of these fights, like I'll give you an example, Diego Lopez, when I looked his odds up, it said that he was minus 195. I didn't count him. He did win. He was Trilby certified, but I saw my bet. I bet him at minus 170. So technically that should have been counted in this. I got to go back and really look at what the opening line was, what the line was when I bet him, things like that. But conservatively in year 5, halfway through this year 5, Trilby certified picks minus 190 or better, you would be up $895 over 21 events. That would be betting $100 bets on underdogs and betting the money line on favorites. So, for example, Alexander Romanoff minus 110, you bet 110. Eamon Zahabi minus 140, you bet minus 140. But if it's an underdog, like, for example, Pat Sabatini plus 150, you bet 100 to win 250 back. So, betting minus 190 or better Triple P certified picks this year, not only would you be up $895, the first 2 events, the first event was Lewis versus Nascimento. You would have picked Lewis, you would have picked Hooper, you would have picked Tabitha Ricci. You would have went 3 for 3. You would have won $375. You also would have won in the next event. So you would have won the first 2 events in a row where we went 3 for 5, but like I said, minus 190 or better. The couple that lost were deep favorites. And then the next event, we went 4 out of 4. The one Trilby sort of pick being Chaos Williams over Carlston Harris. So you'd be up $415 in the first 2 events, and you would have never lost that profit. You would have gone as low with some losses in there because this is not a perfect science. I mean, it is a perfect science, but it's not without, it's a long-term strategy, right? So there was an event where we had one Trilby certified pick. It was Johnny Walker over Volkan Ozdemir. That would have been your one bet that week. You would have lost $110. But you would have won $415 the first 2 events. By event 7, you would have lost some of that profit. You would have only been $25 in the profit. But from event 7 to event 21 last weekend, where we, like I said, we went 3 out of 3 for these golden Trilby certified picks, you would have turned that 25 from event 7 to event 21 from $25 to $895. And that is where you would be right now. It's implied probability, guys. It works all the way down. You would have won on 60. We're 66% accurate. You bet the 66% implied probability or better picks. You would have won on 66% of the events. You would have lost on 7 events. You would have won on 14 events. The math checks out every way you want to slice it. I went back. I simulated the same thing for year 4. You would have won $525, roughly, probably more, in year 4, betting blind Trilby certified picks, for a total of $1,420 between year 4 and year 5 so far. Doing this strategy, you would be up $1,420. Trilby certified picks have always led the way. Only we have this type of data collection over 5 years of these Trilby certified picks. The Trilby certified picks are when Alex, Dan, and I all come together. This is a proprietary algorithm, all of us doing independent study, all of us watching the fights, and all of us kind of checking against each other and trying to kind of not Trilby certified picks at times. But the bottom line is, when you see a Trilby certified pick that is minus 190 or better, that is your strike point. That is your entry point. This week, Prates, too big of a favorite to bet as a Trilby certified pick. Sopaj, too big of a favorite to bet as a Trilby certified pick. René de Ritter, too big of a favorite. Robertson, too big of a favorite. Gomez, too big of a favorite. Ramius, too big of a favorite. But Scoggins is the trophy certified pick that is plus 400 this week. Now, will you lose $100 betting $100 to win $500 back on Scoggins? Maybe, but you would still be up $795. And then you keep rinsing and repeating this strategy event after event. And you let me know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I simulated. I'm just telling you what I've learned from over 70 for almost 70 events so far, 64, 65 events so far that we've had between year 4 and year 5. The win rate is 66%. It is profitable blindly betting these picks at their money line or as underdogs betting $100. So I don't know what else to tell you guys. I mean, it really sucks the fun out of gambling when you just play the math. But if my math is wrong, all of Vegas math is wrong because I'm just reverse engineering the implied probability that they set. I'm just playing a roulette table that is 66% accurate, not playing a roulette table that is 49% accurate. I'm done doing that. This is how we bet now. So the one bet that I should make this weekend is on our boy, our newcomer, our debutant, who is 9 years younger than his opponent, Zach Scoggin. In Scoggin, we trust. Thank you all. I love you. Godspeed to you and yours through this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful triumphant season. No more election ads. Thanksgiving is coming up. I haven't eaten in 2.5 days. I'm so excited to eat this weekend. I'm going to do a 5-day fast. By the time the UFC arrives on Saturday, I will have made my bets already. I will have made it in a ketogenic, autophagetic state. I'm in autophagy. I'm eating away at my body fat. Look at my face. I'm glowing. I have energy. You would not believe I have not eaten in 48 plus 9 hours, 57 hours. It's been 57 hours since food has touched these lips. And I'm doing this as an act of ritualistic sacrifice to the gambling gods, to God, to Valhalla, to the pagan gods of old and new. It's black magic, and I'm doing it to win money gambling. As you know, black magic works. You remember the toad, the newt's tail that I offered up on the altar. You guys remember the many of sacrifices and rituals I've performed, paid in blood, paid in full. Kevin Holland, what did he do? He quit on his stool. Wonder Boy, what did he do? Got knocked the fuck out. This is ancient magic. This is black magic. We are going to win a lot of money this weekend, I believe. And
when you look into it.
When you look into it. Thank you guys for joining the show. Any thoughts on that math I just spit out for you guys?
Seems, oh God. Haven't talked in a minute. Got to readjust my voice. Seems to be pretty legit to me. I mean, numbers are numbers, right? I'll cross-check it, but I don't feel it to be necessary.
Maths, boys. Maths. And like I said, a lot of these lines that I went and looked up to determine if we would have bet them, what it would have been, is just the line that it said on Tapology, right? Which is never what we see it as. Like they had, like I said, Diego Lopez, they had him at minus 195 when he fought Ortega. I have him in my gambling account that I bet minus 170. So that would have been a pick that should have been counted that wasn't. And, this is a very conservative kind of approach I'm taking, but I think it's a lot better. I'm trying to disprove myself, but like they say in the Bible, try to disprove me and ye will prove me. So, and by the way, guys, if you have a large enough sample size on your own data, if you know your own personal win percentage, I'm pretty confident that this math works. Even if you just took your own win rate, Dan, of 59% and did an odds calculator, 59% is probably like 165 or 170, right? Minus 170. And you just only bet your personal picks at the line that correlates with your own win rate. That's the key here. That's why this isn't easy work or an easy get-rich-quick scheme. Not everybody has what we have, which is our picks tracked, our accuracy tracked over 5 years now, 4.5 years now. So that's the work. The work is already done. We've made the work easy. The wood has been chopped. Now we just have to read it, read the writing on the walls, and apply the scrying device, apply the sextant, apply the compass to guide our way to Profitville.
I'm down with that. Let's get it done.
895 is more than I've won doing it my way, right? I mean, 895 over this year is more than 765. So
I'm with it. I'm down with this.
All right, boys. I love you. Have fun. Have fun in Trump's America. Behave yourself now.